So welcome to another nutrition moment here at Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market. So today we're going to be talking about MERCOLA, Dr. MERCOLA vitamin supplements, very unique products. First of all, I'd like to say that when it comes to the ethicalness about production as far as quality, as well as the ingredients, by far one of the top products in the store, no question about it. So what's unique about it is they kind of fit into some categories and weave into some areas that nobody else kind of seems to go or venture into, all right? So let's just start off with this. This is kind of a fun one. All right, so real quick, they do make what is known as nattokinase. A lot of you guys are familiar with nattokinase when it comes to circulation, helping with viscosity of the blood, so to speak, and improving blood viscosity, or just, for lack of better terms, blood movement, right? So did you know that eating Chinese earthworms actually was a thing back like in the 1600s? And so the Chinese actually found that eating earthworms actually helped improve cardiovascular benefits, right? So one of the active ingredients in earthworms, remember they literally bore through like soil, eating soil along the way and all the other different things. They actually produce what is known as like a lumbar kinase enzyme specifically that comes from these guys. And what they do once you consume them is it breaks down fibrogenins, which are proteins that clot up blood. So this frees up the circulation, improving circulation throughout the whole body, making this a very, once again, MERCOLA unique product. Nobody else really has anything like this. In fact, I think this is the only lumbar kinase that's on the shelf in our stores. Kind of show you a little bit of the uniqueness when we go through it. One of the things that MERCOLA did is he actually was one of the first people to start coming out with liposomal vitamins as well as other components. And so we'll kind of get into a little moment on that as well too. So what is a liposomal? Liposomal basically is like a compound that's put together with fats and water, making what we call micelle, which is like little droplets. So ultimately what happens when you consume these, they break down into these little droplets, which are rapidly absorbed into the intestinal system and get into the bloodstream and stay in the bloodstream for a good duration of time, making a great delivery system. So the word oftentimes used is known as, for lack of better terms, the chemistry to get the cell, to get the product into the digestion through the bloodstream and then to the cell is known as bioavailability, making liposomal probably one of the best adjuncts to making a product bioavailable. So, glutathione. Glutathione, when you look at glutathione, it's a tripeptide. So it's made out of NAC, it's made out of glutamine, and it's made out of glycine, right? The problem is it's a tripeptide, so it means 3 peptides added together, or 3 protein fragments put together. So it's hard to absorb. Once again, in a liposomal, it's going to ensure the delivery of getting it into the bloodstream. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little bit of a NAC fan because NAC increases glutathione. I would probably never use glutathione unless it was a bioavailable liposomal, because it's going to ensure that it actually absorbs. So then hyaluronic acid. A lot of guys know about hyaluronic acid, skin, hair, nails, things of that nature. One of the biggest things with hyaluronic acid, once again, it's a substance that repels, that actually is attracted to water, but it's kind of hard to kind of get through the system. It's big. So that's the reason why you're using glucosamines as well as other different things. Kind of helps the body produce more hyaluronic acid. Once again, boom, hyaluronic acid in a liposomal delivery system. This probably is going to be the best one that you can get if you're trying to help with skin, hair, nails, and as well as like joint flexibility. So let's just keep cruising around some fun stuff. I'm not going to pick every one of them, but I'm also going to just kind of go through and have some fun picks. So when you look at the iron, okay, so organic iron from curry. So one of the biggest problems you run into with iron is this. Obviously, it's very difficult to absorb, very difficult to digest. So this is actually a food source. It's a little bit lower on the milligrams, purposely because the bioavailability is very strong, so it's going to be able to get into the system and digest well. If you have a problem with iron and you're needing to use it, I would definitely recommend using the iron that's from curry as well too. All right, so let's do a little bit of fun. Astaxanthin. Astaxanthin used for all sorts of fun stuff, like so people that have excessive blue light. So who's blue light? Anybody on their phone? Anybody on a computer? Anybody looking at TV? That's all blue light. So astaxanthin, as you know, works specifically in a couple different areas. What it does, it's a very strong antioxidant that's in the system, especially like in the eyes and in that ocular area. So what it does is it prevents all that blue light from becoming an issue. The other thing most people don't understand about astaxanthin is this. It's actually great for cardiovascular benefits as well as exercise. So one of the things about it, in a gummy delivery system, it makes it really accessible, especially if you've got teenagers or different individuals that you want to maybe help with that blue light moment, giving it like an easy delivery system. All right, one of my favorite things, hydrogen. Hydrogen ion is like one of the #1 compounds throughout the whole universe. 75% of the whole like everything you deal with. So carbohydrates, proteins, hydrogen bound. So you look at hydrogen gas, our bodies literally have hydrogen. Hydrogen is very unique though. One of the things that happens with hydrogen, specifically, it's an antioxidant. It's one of the #1 antioxidants in the body. The problem is, if you're going to use hydrogen externally, it's very difficult to get into the system. So there's been a lot of research on athletes using hydrogen gas before, like athletic trainings, things of that nature, for stamina, also the antioxidant, anti-aging thing. But one of the, as I said, where are you going to get some hydrogen gas? Well, watch this. What's cool about this moment is this. Take this tablet, and we actually drop it into water. And what it literally does is, as you watch, literally starts producing hydrogen gas on the spot. So now what you do is let this start to dissolve, literally drink it, and you can see it just, the gas is actually fizzing into the water and actually clouding it up and making it like a cool moment. So if you're going to use hydrogen gas for like performance, antioxidant, things of that nature, you can actually get it. Does anyone else have this on the shelf? Yeah, there's a couple people that actually have it, but who was the guy who started it? Definitely a Dr. MERCOLA moment. All right, so let's talk a little bit about brain. Let's talk about like lipofussion, different things like that. So as we get older, we have a tendency to develop different types of lipofussion type compounds, things of that nature. One of the biggest problems is getting cells to die as we get older. So what happens in this particular situation, the spermidine, physidine actually help encourage what we call autophagy. Ultimately, that's a process where the body actually breaks down and gets rid of old cells. And this is something that's like an anti-aging compound that works so efficiently in that area. Great for mental alertness, great for mental acuteness and things of that nature. You might want to combine it with his new organic mushroom coffee that's got lion's mane with it. So if you're one that's actually seeking out like some type of brain rejuvenation, as well as maybe some brain energy, the combo of these two together will actually be like a great fun product to use. All right, let's talk about bone density. Bone density specifically, when we look at bone density, one of the things that we know, that especially when it comes to osteoporosis and things of that nature, strontium and boron are critical. Boron prevents the breakdown of estrogen, helps with like postmenopausal situations, keeping that estrogen level nice and high so it keeps the bone health nice and stable. The other thing is strontium helps with stabilizing and strengthening the bones, making a great combination together. What's unique about this particular situation is that it obviously has appropriate dosages, which a lot of times you won't see that. The dosages on the strontium is going to be very low. In this situation, it's a milligram dosage that's very effective, and it's going to work. It's at a clinical level, as you would expect from a doctor's line, right? Okay, essential mineral complex. Let's say you're one that doesn't take vitamins and minerals, like as far as like a multivitamin. There's a lot of people that don't do that. So you're not taking a multivitamin. Believe it or not, one of the biggest things that happens is the trace minerals. Specifically, when you look at this situation, he's got zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, chromium, molybdenum. So a lot of times you think, well, what does that mean? Well, let's just take manganese. Manganese is necessary for the synthesis of collagen. Let's say you're taking collagen, been doing that, but you're not taking a multivitamin. You're missing some of these essential trace minerals that ultimately become a foundation, so to speak, in so many different areas, like chromium when it comes specifically to like blood to sugar balance. If you're not using a multivitamin for various reasons, you might want to make sure that you consider a mineral complex like that. Zinc, this is like a fun one. This is a liquid zinc. One thing I know about liquid zinc is this. When you first start taking it, if you don't start and kind of notice like a strong taste on your mouth, it might mean that you're deficient in it. Very common. He doesn't actually put the information on here, but I thought I'd expand it a little bit. So one thing that happens with liquid zinc, it's very absorbable, works very fast, and gets into the system on a great pace. So it helps not only build that natural zinc level back up, but the other thing that's important too is the quickness on how it works. So within a week or so, you actually start maybe noticing when you take it and put the drops on your tongue, you actually might start getting like almost like a metal or a fur taste. That means not only is your zinc level is coming up, but it's working really super fast, all right? So silica, another great thing, by the way, when it comes to skin, a great collagen builder. But let's watch this and let's talk about skin. One of the things that we actually have in our skin is ceramides. And what happens with ceramides is ceramides are compounds that the body produces. It's needed for the immune system at the skin level. The other thing that's nice about ceramides is this, it actually retains moisture. So if you're dehydrated, or you feel like your skin could be plumped up a little bit more, the ceramide combination might be something that you might want to add to it as well too. By the way, when it comes to his formula, it's full appropriate dose as well. And so I'm also going to kind of finish off with some kind of fun things. I love this krill oil. I use it on a regular basis. One of the ones that has the most astaxanthin in it. So if you're not one that's taking astaxanthin, but you're using krill, you're going to get an appropriate dose that's going to be in here. So what's unique in this situation too, when it comes to krill, 1,000 milligrams of krill is worth 3,000 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids like DHA, EPA, fish oil, right? So what's different is this though, when it comes to krill, there are phospholipids. This is what I use, this is what I like, and the reason why is because I want to feel my brain activated when I use omega-3s. So not only do I get the same benefit as 3 grams and I don't get the burp, because this stuff dissolves instantly in the digestive system and goes in very rapidly, bioavailability to the brain, but it also has like phosphatidylserine and choline, things of that nature, that makes the brain just that much more perky. This is my choice when it comes to fatty acids. All right, so I'm going to finish with this. So when we're looking at this, very unique situations. They fit in certain areas where people are like maybe focusing. And so that's the MERCOLA line. If you're looking at the best quality, the best particular type of product that's available in that category, as well as some unique category areas, the MERCOLA product line is the product.